Hello again on this lovely holiday weekend. So here we are, just the two of us as a reduced family unit here, having some dinner at home and sharing a nice bottle of wine. So what we have today is a Barbaresco from 2004. It's by the Rivetti family. The property is La Spinetta, and this is the Gallina single vineyard Barbaresco. I think it's pretty much a sort of top bottling. And this is a Barbaresco I tasted at a tasting here locally, not this particular year, but a more recent one. And I just was really seduced by the charm, the subtlety, the finesse of the thing, which can happen in Barbaresco. So I started looking for some older vintages to buy, and this is one of them. I think there's some scribbling on the label because maybe the previous owner had written something and it can't figure it out. So the Rivetti family started this back in the, sort of last third, let's say, of the last century. And they started making their own wine. And the started with, I think Moscato was their first wine. Then they started branching into more kind of Barbaresco. This was their first, and they only do Barbaresco, I think. This was their first bottling of Barbaresco single vineyard. I think the first one was in 1995, Gallina, and since then they make several bottlings. They're all very highly rated, very high quality, and I think the difference is really the vineyard. This is a south-facing, about 13-acre vineyard. A lot of the they really believe in hand based work in the vineyards, very natural processes, sort of fermentation in rotating seed, but at the same time high tech. So the rotating steel, that from fermentation, and then they kind of like to age the wine in French barriques as opposed to the old, sort of the Slovenian big old oak barrels. But anyway, that's their style, and let's see what we have here. So, 2004, not necessarily a particularly fancy year. I don't know if you can see that, but it's pretty brown. I mean, we noticed right away that the color is bricked.
Very brick.
It's an evolved, as we say, color and wine. On the nose, when I first opened the bottle, it was really just intoxicating in terms of it was some incense, there was some sort of dark, really fruit and some broodiness. I mean, it was all very interesting. I think this wine being, even though the cork was perfect, but this wine being a little bit maybe evolved, I think things went pretty fast after we opened it. And now, what do you see? What do you feel on the nose?
I smell, I said earlier, like a warm, it's almost like a caramel, like a sugary caramel. Not sugary in like a too sweet, saccharine way, more like a slowly like burnt caramel type. I also smell a little bit of oranges, like a warm,
There is
a warm citrus, a little bit like the mulled wine smell that you get when you add some of the oranges, slices and stuff.
To it. That's true. And it's a little bit of Madeirization. You smell this sort of port-like alcohol, even though it's not a very alcoholic wine. Can't really figure out.
First, it seemed a little bit brandy-like, in the presentation.
And I think it's a bit of that evolution. Maybe it's slight, not necessarily oxidation, but just aging of the wine. I can't figure out what the rhinoceros is about, but they have that on all the different cuvées. So I was hoping to find something to tell you, but I couldn't. If you guys know anything, let me know.
The smell is actually really, really nice. The aroma.
Yeah. No, it's deep. It's got layers. It's got the fruit. It's got the incense. It's got some of that sort of
like
caramel.
Perfume.
It is a little bit, but it's not cloying. I don't think.
I think it's a nice a.
On the palate, it has very nice acidity. And we had really some great homemade pizza course, it was great because we made it, but it was very good. And I think the wine went very well with it. The acidity cuts through a lot of the stuff, and it's still very alive for a wine that's. I don't know if it was supposed to be able to age this long. Again, the vintage 2004 wasn't particularly noteworthy in Piedmont.
I do. I feel you feel the acidity right at the back of your throat
Yeah.
immediately. But then I find it generally a little
stays,
muted.
But the
flavor.
length is there, yeah. It's a subtle wine. It's not a powerhouse. It's got nice layers. It's really something that makes you reflect. It goes really well with the food. I'm very happy to have it. I think I'm gonna seek out some other vintages, maybe something a little younger that's a little bit more vigorous, and maybe some of the first vintages. It'll be interesting to see what the 95 and 96 really drink like right now. But I was just very happy to have tasted it and have discovered this producer.
Do you think that the first vintages have held up?
Well, I don't know. We're gonna have to look it up and see what people say.
That's 10 years on this one.
Older than this, yeah. Could be. I mean, some Barbarescos can age 40, 50 years if they're properly conserved, and if if they're sort of high quality to begin with. Cheers. See you soon.